Not a War by Silarine. Chapter 3. Magda knew she shouldn't feel sad. The cute soldier had only promised her a drink, nothing more. He had said next time, but hadn't specified when the next time would be. As Emily had said, he couldn't spend all of his money at the tavern every night, and it had only been 3 days. But still, it was the first time a boy showed a little bit of interest towards her. It was normal that her feelings were troubled. Nothing like love at first sight at all, but just troubled. She was a teenager, though, and she was aware of that fact. A period of life when feelings were confused and messed up for no real reason. So she decided to stop worrying and be more lighthearted. So she focused her energy into her job and stopped startling whenever the doors opened. The little tavern was crowded, as usual. Soldiers of the Imperial Guard were eager to drink something else other than their poor quality amasec. Magda's father's business had never been so prosperous. If it continued like this, her father may be able to realize his dream of extending the tavern and turning it into an inn. Then maybe Magda and Emily could quit their jobs at the farms and work full-time in his inn. Leaving the farms, it was everyone's dream here, but usually people left them when they were too old or injured or because they had been fired. Being fired was the worst thing that could happen. People like Magda, who weren't adepts, usually had a very precarious life. Her family was very lucky to have the tavern. Magda was cleaning glasses at the bar when Emily came to see her. "Look who's back," she said, skeptical. Magda's head turned toward the door and she let an "oh" of surprise. The young foreigner was back, alone this time. "You want me to kick him out?" Emily asked. "No," she giggled. "Let's see if he comes to talk to me before. If he doesn't, go ahead." Emily went into the back room, looking at the newcomer with daggers in her eyes. Magda felt happy that the soldier came back, but she wasn't going to make the first move, so she proceeded to ignore his presence and wait. She could see from the corner of her eyes that he was strutting towards her and suddenly felt nervous. He was tall, more than a head taller than her, quite broad-shouldered. Exactly what Magda imagined soldiers to be like. Tall, large, and muscled. Handsome, too. "Hi there, girl," he said in a low voice, leaning against the bar. It was stupid, but these 3 words pronounced in his exotic accent sent a flow of butterflies in her stomach. But Magda thought he was showing off too much. "Good evening, sir. Do you want to order something?" she said more coldly than she wanted, without even looking at him. "How rude," he sighed. "I think I'll just find a nicer waitress." He pretended to leave, pointing at Emily. Magda involuntarily let out a little laugh. Emily wasn't going to be nicer with him. He turned back to her, smiling. This smile sent a jolt into Magda's spine. Maybe he was nice after all. "Sorry," she said, amused, and then exaggerated. "I meant, how are you doing this evening, sir? It's a pleasure to have you back in this establishment. Mr. Myhill's not with you tonight? I hope he is fine. How may I help you?" "Oh, you remember Myhill's name. Impressive. I guess you see a lot of people every night. I didn't think you'd remember." "Oh yes, I remember him. He seems to be a nice person," she answered. Actually, she remembered especially because Myhill had been with him. "I wonder if you'd remember my name if I told you," he said, thoughtful. "Of course I have," she answered a little bit too quickly. Great, now he would know that she liked him. "I mean, you seem to be a nice person too." "Worse," he raised an eyebrow. "I remember your name, Magda," he said with a half smile. "Oh, okay." She blushed. She didn't know what to say. If he remembered, it meant that he liked her, right? He was happy that he remembered. "Are you allowed to drink while working?" he asked. "If you still want me to offer you a drink." "Well, I'm not really supposed to drink with customers, but who cares?" he said casually. But inside, she was extremely excited. He remembered his promise. It meant something, didn't it? Then I'll take the same as you. Are you sure? I'm working. I can't decently drink alcohol. Oh, okay, he sighed, disappointed. Well, water's healthy, right? I guess so. Sorry, she said, placing 2 glasses of tap water on the bar. It's okay. Don't worry. Without my hell, I'm not in the mood for alcohol anyway. So why isn't Mr. My Hell here? Magda asked, concerned. He's standing guard at the camp, he explained. Even though we're here to rest, we all have to do some duties at the camp sometimes. I was on duty for the last 2 days. That's why he hadn't come, Magda realized. She realized that she was worrying for nothing. She drank a sip of water. Life in the Imperial Guard must be tough. Don't you want to know my name? He asked her. Yes, she answered eagerly before adding, I mean, it'd be fair since you know mine. True, he smiled. My name's Balak. What a strange name, Magda said, pensive. Balak burst out laughing. You're definitely rude. You know that. To me, it's your name that's strange, Magda. That sounds weird. Hey, it's short for Magdalene, she answered, falsely offended. Never heard of it, he said with a wary smile. Your world must be very far then, because it's a very common name, she said, pouting, crossing her arms. Yeah, you're funny, he laughed. What's so funny? She asked, really offended this time. You're so small, but you seem to have a strong character. And that's funny? Yeah, he said, still laughing. I'm not small, I'm normal. You're ridiculously tall. He just laughed even more. Yeah, maybe, he said, calming down. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. It's okay. So you work here with your father, right? Balak asked, changing the subject. Yes, and also my sister and my cousin, she answered happily. Let me guess, the brunette one is your sister. Right, she smiled. Her name's Emily. The blonde one's my cousin Annalise. And, why does your sister look like she wants to kill me? He asked casually. Oh, no, she just wants to kick your butt, she answered, giggling. Don't pay attention to her. She's a little exuberant and overprotective. So she doesn't want you talking to boys. No, it's just, she began. She couldn't tell him what Annalise was thinking. I'm still a baby to her, and she doesn't trust soldiers. I see. Why did you want to drink with me anyway, she asked, trying to sound careless. I don't know. You're cute, he answered directly, causing Magda to blush and look away. She hadn't been expecting this. Was he playing with her, or was he serious? His intense blue eyes were amused, and seeing them made her melt. Why did you accept, anyway? He added. I'm not sure yet, was all that she could say. You're so funny, he said with a little laugh. What this time? He was definitely making fun of her. You get embarrassed so easily. I guess you don't have a lot of experience with boys. Is it that obvious? She sighed. What was the point of lying? Oh yeah, I knew it since the beginning. You look so innocent. Oh, I guess you have a lot of experience with girls, Mr. Imperial Guard, she exclaimed. Hey, don't be mad, he said. And don't believe that. You're just playing with me. I should let Emily kick your butt, she said, crossing her arms. No, please, she scares me, he begged, still laughing. Stop that, I'm serious, Magda said. Okay, he calmed down. Sorry, you're just too funny. But I'm not playing with you. Are you relieved? Not at all. He didn't know what to think. One moment he was making fun of her, and the other he seemed very serious. What did he have in mind? He was quite annoying, but usually when a guy was annoying with the girl, it meant that he liked her, didn't it? Could it be true? Magda remained silent as she pondered this. Balak's eyes were locked on her face. Those things that you have on your cheeks, what are those? He finally asked. changing the subject again. He looked confused. What things? My freckles, she said, touching her cheek. Yeah, that. I've never seen that before. Why do you have those? Why? How could I know? As far as I remember, they were here. People don't have freckles where you come from. Even though it wasn't common, freckles were a rare thing here. I don't think so, but it suits you well. It's pretty. Thanks. He blushed again. The butterflies in her stomach were waking up. It was the second time he made a compliment. Magda was beginning to believe that he did actually like her. Your world must be very different than mine. You have no idea, he chuckled. What kind of world do you come from? Magda asked, truly interested. And why did you enter the Imperial Guard? Pollock allowed himself a minute of reflection before answering, drinking a sip of water. I'll tell you, but not today. He finally answered with a grin. I promised you a drink, but this doesn't count since you're working. You have to agree to go on a date with me another time. Magda was taken aback. Was he serious? She was reminded of what Annalisa said about him probably just wanting sex. But she wanted to trust him, and the surreal deep blue eyes seemed honest. Well, okay, she agreed enthusiastically. After all, it was just a date, nothing more. Hey there, thank you guys for listening to these videos so far. I hope you've enjoyed the story. If you did, consider pressing the like button. It really helps out the channel. Also, you can get these videos up to a week early on Patreon. Also, if you prefer Spotify, I do upload these videos onto Spotify on the same upload schedule as YouTube. I'll be putting links to the Spotify podcast as well as all of my socials and Patreon in the description. I'm really happy to see that some of you have been enjoying this content, so I'm very happy to continue making some. Alright, that's all I have for today. I'll see you guys next time. Good night.